Good afternoon, folks. My name is Rich Keener. I'm the village manager for the Village of Villa Park. It's my honor to be here today, and today is another one of our segments to record the agenda for the upcoming board meeting. So the board meeting we'll be talking about today is going to take place on Monday, September 14th. So let's begin. So what takes place is the Committee of the Whole starts at 7:30, and then directly after the Committee of the Whole, the formal board meeting takes place. So at 7:30 Monday, September 14th, the Committee of the Whole agenda begins. So let's start. So number one for Monday night on the Committee of the Whole is a call to order of the roll call. Number two is the Pledge of Allegiance. Number three is amendments on the agenda, and that's the appropriate spot on the agenda for the President or Board of Trustees to make revisions or modifications to the agenda. Number four is a proclamation recognizing Police K-9 Eno for his dedication and service to the citizens of Villa Park as a member of the Villa Park Police Department. So number four actually is the retirement of our K-9 dog, Eno. And so we'll read a proclamation, and we will have the dog in attendance that night and the handler, and I'm sure many of the police officers will be there as well. And so that's the retirement. And then later on in the agenda, there'll be an item to transfer ownership of Eno to the handler, which is Officer Ruby. And while that seems kind of odd on the surface to give the dog to the handler, that Pacific dog listens to the commands from the handler. So that dog would not do very well with an ordinary person, myself, or maybe you, because it's used to receiving commands from the handler. And so that's the protocol, is to give the police dog to the handler until the end of the life of the dog. So let's move on to number five for the Committee of the Whole for Monday night, is recognition of firefighter paramedics Jeff Brown and Steve Lyons for their successful completion of the one-year probationary period and permanent appointment by the Board of Fire and Police Commission. So what's taking place is those two firemen have reached their end of their one-year probationary period and will be sworn in by our clerk, Hosanna Kornecki, that evening. So not only will we have a lot of police officers in attendance, we will have a lot of firefighters in attendance also. So number six on our agenda for Monday is a 5-minute intermission, because that will give time for the police department folks to leave and the fire department folks to leave. And then we'll come back after about 5 minutes or so and go right back into the agenda, which number seven is appointments and reappointments to boards and commissions. So the only reappointment will be Adam Clintworth to the Historical Preservation Commission. And that's the only one. Now, again, that's a reappointment. So number eight on the Committee of the Whole for number eight for Monday, September 14th is to consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a final plat of re-subdivision for the property located at 318 South Villa Avenue, to be known as Garden Village Re-Subdivision. And so what this item is about is the petitioner is seeking a re-subdivision of a two-lot subdivision under the Administrative Subdivision Regulations of the Village of Villa Park. This request meets all the guidelines of the process, and staff recommends that the village president and board of trustees approve this ordinance. So folks, what's happening is we have this two-lot subdivision, and we're making the lots buildable. So they'll be at least 50 feet wide and be able to build some homes on those lots instead of just being able to build a home on one lot. So we'll change the subdivision for those two lots, make them both buildable lots. So we can have maybe a couple more new homes come to Villa Park and be constructed. Number 9 on the Committee of the Whole is consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a detention variance pursuant to the Village Detentions Variance Fee Program relating to location 153 West Roosevelt Road. So JB Development Inc. will be expanding the existing Jet Bright car wash located at 153 West Roosevelt Road. They are requesting payment of a fee of $1,647 in lieu of physically providing the required stormwater detention as allowed in Appendix D, Section 4 of the Municipal Code. Village Board action is required because the site is greater than 1 acre. So folks, with this particular item, JB Development has purchased 1 acre from Lucky Motors on Roosevelt, and they're going to be expanding their car wash. And in our code, you can actually pay a fee in lieu of providing more detention, or runoff, if you will. So that's what's happening with that item. So number 10, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract between the village and Orange Crush LLC for the 2015 street resurfacing project for a revised contract amount of $1,617,000. The village has a contract with Orange Crush LLC of Hillside, Illinois for the 2015 street resurfacing project. Proposed change order number 1 consists of additional pay items in quantities for the resurfacing of the parking lot at the Villa Park Historical Museum, located on the south side of Central Boulevard between Myrtle Avenue and Villa Avenue. Staff solicited and received proposals from 3 contractors for this work. The net amount of this proposed change order number 1 is an addition of $45,000 for a revised contract amount of $1,617,000. Funds for this additional work are to be taken from the Kenilworth TIF Fund. So folks, we're doing a change order to a contract that we already have, and we're trying to get the Villa Park Municipal Museum parking lot resurfaced prior to winter. So we're kind of pushing that through and getting it done. And so I've challenged staff to get another project done this year, and that's the resurfacing of the museum parking lot. So number 11, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Denlier Inc. for the village's 2015 crack sealing program in the amount of $110,424. The village proposes to seal approximately 310,000 linear feet of pavement and seams throughout the village. The village and several municipalities solicited bids jointly in 2014 to receive better unit prices. As part of the 2014 program, unit prices were submitted for 2014, 2015, and 2016. Staff recommends awarding a contract to Denlier Inc. in the amount of $110,424. A waiver of the requirement of competitive bidding would be required. So folks, we actually went out and jointly bid in 2014. So we're just going to use that contract for this year's street improvements, 2015, and then again next year for 2016. And that was again jointly bid, so the unit prices are much less than bidding separately by ourselves. Number 12 is to consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a contract with Corrective Asphalt Materials LLC of South Roxana, Illinois, for the 2015 asphalt surface rejuvenating treatment program in the amount of $46,370.17. The village has a continuing program for extending the life of previously resurfaced and reconstructed asphalt pavements. A rejuvenating agent known as Reclamite will be applied to the surface of selected streets, thereby extending the life of the pavement. Village staff publicly bid the project, and one contractor submitting a bid, Corrective Asphalt Materials LLC of South Roxana, Illinois, submitted the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $46,370.17. And again, this is another program, folks, that we do on a yearly basis, just like we do the seal coating, and now the Reclamite is another continuing program that we do on a year out, year in basis. So 13 on a committee of the whole for Monday night, September 14th, is to consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the appointment of a backup Freedom of Information Officer, otherwise known as FOIA. The village is required to appoint a FOIA officer to meet the requirements of Public Act 096-0542. Due to the pending retirement of Deputy Chief Budig, which is the backup Freedom of Information Officer, it is recommended that the village appoint an additional backup officer in order to ensure that the requests are met in a timely manner. So DC Budig is retiring in October, and now we're promoting another individual into that position, if you will, or assigning the duties now so they can be trained. And when DC Budig retires, and that person will be ready to take over in October. And so we'll have the first FOIA officer, and then we'll have the backup FOIA officer. So let's go on to number 14. Consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the sale of personal property, the canine dog, owned by the Village of Villa Park. Staff recommends the transfer of ownership of Eno to Officer Brian Ruby. And I mentioned that earlier in the discussion of the Committee of the Whole. So again, our canine officer, Ruby, will take possession of Eno, our canine, which is retiring, and we'll recognize Eno Monday night in a formal presentation, and then Eno will become the property of Officer Ruby to take care of until the dog is deceased, etc. Number 15 for the Committee of the Whole for Monday night is to consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, rejecting all bids received for the South Monterey Storm Water Quality Project. The village recently bid the 2015 South Monterey Stormwater Quality Project. The bids received were considerably higher than expected. A formal rejection of the bids received is recommended. And then, folks, with that one, so we reject all the bids, we'll take a look at the project, and then we'll rebid it at a later date to see if we can get the bids down. It could be the time of the year that all the contractors are very busy, etc. So we'll take a look and see what we can do to get the bids and the prices down to an affordable level. So number 16 for the Committee of the Whole for Monday night is to convene to the formal agenda. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten out my papers, and then I'll switch to the formal agenda for Monday night, September 14. And just remember, though, the Committee of the Whole starts at 7:30, and the formal agenda starts immediately after the Committee of the Whole. So number 1 on the formal agenda for Monday night, September 14th, is the Village President's Report. And one item that she has that evening is a proclamation declaring September 29th, 2015 as Paint Illinois Blue Day. And then also during her report, she usually gives an update on some emails or some phone calls she has received, or she may ask staff questions about some certain developments and things of that nature. Number 2 on the agenda is public comments on agenda items. And that's the appropriate time for residents in the audience to ask questions from President Bullwinkle or the Board of Trustees or staff. Number 3 is amendments of the agenda, and that's the appropriate time for the President or Board of Trustees to modify the formal agenda. It could be deleting something or asking for a separate vote on something that's included on the consent agenda. Number 4 is the consent agenda for Monday night. And there's A through K this time. So A for the consent agenda for Monday night is a bill listing dated September 14th, 2015 in the amount of $435,099.83. B of the consent agenda is minutes from the village COW meeting for August 24th, 2015. C is minutes from the village formal board meeting for the August 24, 2015 meeting. D is first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a final plat of re-subdivision for the property located at 318 South Villa Avenue, to be known as Garden Village Re-Subdivision. So the petitioner is seeking a re-subdivision of a two-lot subdivision under the administrative subdivision regulations of the Village of Villa Park. This request meets all the guidelines of the process, and staff recommends that the village president and board of trustees approve this ordinance. And folks, a lot of the consent agenda, or really all the consent agenda, is a carryover from the committee of the whole Monday night, and we try to do that so it expedites economic development, or expedites certain things that we want to go through quickly. That's not controversial. So on D, that's the subdivision I talked about earlier, where we're going to re-subdivide the lots so they're both buildable, and hopefully we'll have a developer come into town and build 2 brand new homes on those lots. So E on the consent agenda for Monday night is a first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a detention variance pursuant to the village's detentions variance fee program. And this has to do with the address of 153 West Roosevelt Road. In other words, JetBrite. So JB Development Inc. will be expanding the existing JetBrite car wash located at 153 West Roosevelt Road. They are requesting payment of a fee of $1,647 in lieu of physically providing the required stormwater detention as allowed in Appendix D, Section 4 of the Municipal Code. Village board action is required because the site is greater than 1 acre. So as I mentioned in the Committee of the Whole, JetBrite is expanding their operation on Roosevelt Road and has purchased 1 acre of property from Lucky Motors located on Roosevelt Road. And all of that property is impervious surface. It's all either concrete or asphalt, so it's easier to pay an amount in lieu of providing detention. So the amount again is $1,647 in lieu of providing the detention. So, and folks, E, that's great for a local business to expand. That's great for our community. F for the consent agenda for Monday night is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract between the village and Orange Crush LLC for the 2015 street resurfacing project for a revised contract amount of $1,617,000. And folks, F again is a carryover from the Committee of the Whole, and that particular item is where I challenge staff to resurface the museum parking lot this year before the snow falls, so that when the spring comes, the parking lot will be beautiful and we can get other projects done in that area as well. So the parking lot will cost approximately $45,000 to resurface, so we need a change order to the Orange Crush contract. So we added that in. So the Orange Crush contract now will be $1,617,000 for the 2015 street resurfacing project. So going on to G for the consent agenda for Monday night is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Dendler, Inc. for the village's 2015 crack sealing program in the amount of $110,424. And folks, this is again an annual program, so this is the 2015 crack sealing program. We had a 2014 program, we'll have a 2016 program. The village proposes to seal 310,000 linear feet of pavement and seams throughout the village. The village and several municipalities solicited bids jointly in 2014 to receive better unit prices. As part of the 2014 program, unit prices were submitted for 2014, 2015, and 2016, so it was a 3-year contract. Staff recommends awarding a contract to Dendler, Inc. in the amount of $110,424. A waiver of the requirement of competitive bidding would be required. And so folks, Again, this is the 2015 program, and then 2016 we'll move forward with the next year's ceiling contract. So H for the consent agenda for Monday night, September 14th, is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a contract with Corrective Asphalt Materials, LLC of South Roxana, Illinois, for the 2015 asphalt surface rejuvenating treatment program in the amount of $46,370.17. So the village has a continuing program for extending the life of previously resurfaced and reconstructed asphalt pavements. A rejuvenating agent known as Reclamite will be applied to the surface of selected streets, thereby extending the life of the pavement. Village staff publicly bid the project, with one contractor submitting a bid. Corrective Asphalt Materials, LLC of South Roxana, Illinois, submitted the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $46,370.17. And again, that's a continuing program, and it always saves our streets to put down the Reclamite and then do the seams as well. Resolution I, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the appointment of a backup Freedom of Information Officer, otherwise known as FOIA. The village is required to appoint a FOIA officer to meet the requirements of Public Act 096-0542. Due to the pending retirement of Deputy Chief Budig, which is our current backup of Freedom of Information Officer, it is recommended that the village appoint an additional backup officer in order to ensure that the requests are met in a timely manner. So Deputy Chief Budig, again, is retiring in October, and we're going to appoint another person to replace him. And then I haven't mentioned, but our first officer that fills the Freedom of Information requests is our Human Resource Manager, Janet Gorman. And then the current backup right now is Deputy Chief Budig. And then Deputy Chief Budig will retire in October. And then the backup person will be the Administrative Assistant, Aaron Knackstead, which works in my office. So let's go on to J for the consent agenda for Monday night. Is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the sale of personal property, the canine dog, Eno, owned by the Village of Villa Park. Staff recommends the transfer of ownership of Eno to Officer Brian Ruby. K for the consent agenda for Monday night is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, rejecting all bids received for the South Monterey Stormwater Quality Project. The village recently received and bid the 2015 South Monterey Stormwater Quality Project. The bids received were considerably higher than expected. A formal rejection of the bids received is recommended. And so, folks, what we'll do is we'll take a look at the project and see how we can get the bids lowered to a more manageable threshold and rebid the project. So moving on from the consent now, we'll move on to 5 on the formal board agenda for Monday, September 14th, which is public comments on non-agenda items. And that's the appropriate time for residents in the audience to ask questions of the president, board of trustees, or staff on certain items. It could be many different items that the questions could refer to. And obviously, if staff can't answer them at that time, we always get back to the residents. But usually we can answer the questions at that time. Number 6 for the agenda for Monday night, the formal agenda, is Village Clerk's report. And that's the appropriate time for Village Clerk Kornecki to kind of give an update, if you will, for what's been happening in the clerk's role. And she's the Villa Park Kiwanis president as well. So she may mention something about our club that's taking place, or mention something about the village clerk's role, maybe new legislation or something that's taking place. Number 7 is the village trustees report, and that is the appropriate time for one of the trustees or all the trustees to ask questions or give a report of what's happening in their area since the last time we met. Could be an email, could be a phone call, could be a question for a staff member. Number 8 is the village manager's report, and that's the appropriate time for myself to kind of give an update on projects or add additional information to what's being undertaken that evening on the agenda. So we're moving on to number 9, which is the village attorney's report, and that would be the appropriate time for village attorney or Binninger to kind of give an update on what's been happening in their role, or maybe a legislative update, since there's a lot of movement in Springfield right now on certain bills, whether it be in the Senate or the House. Number 10 for Monday night on the formal agenda is adjournment. So we've got kind of a meaty agenda for Monday night, nothing controversial, a lot of economic development. We do have a lot of events taking place, so I've got a couple of events to let you know about. So, Friday, September 11th, we have the Oktoberfest, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., and that's at Lions Park on St. Charles Road. So at 7:45, there'll be a presentation by the VFW Post 2801. At 8 o'clock, it'll be Simple on stage, so that's the band, and they're going to play from 8 to 11, so that's one long set, folks. And Oktoberfest, please come out. Beautiful weather. Should be a great time. On Saturday, September 12th, there's the Pause on the Path. That'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right by the gazebo. And if you're interested in adopting a pet or getting some treats, that would be the place to be. A lot of times they have some pets to be adopted. They have some free treats, a lot of literature. So bring your pet up to Pause on the Path on Saturday, September 12th at 10 a.m. Also at 10 a.m., the Sugar Creek Golf Course has its 40th anniversary celebration at the banquet facility at the golf course. And there'll be a raffle drawing, free golf for 1 year. They're going to raffle off a 42-inch LED TV. So a lot happening on September 12th, Saturday. So don't forget, 10 a.m., Pause on the Path by the gazebo. 10 a.m., Sugar Creek Golf Course. 40th anniversary. Can you believe it? 40 years. Wow. And then there's also a free driving range drawing too at the Sugar Creek. So I forgot about to mention that. So also September 12th at 12 noon, the Oktoberfest kicks off at Lions Park. So 12 to 3, there'll be music, entertainment, rides, games. 3 to 4, there'll be Coach Josh helping out. Cold-blooded creatures, that's the snakes, the alligator, and things of that nature. And that always brings a large crowd out. I think you can pet them, you can hold them, things of that nature. That's not for me, though. I pass on that. I'm not much of a snake or alligator guy. 8 to 11 that evening is Seventh Heaven. That's a great band. So I predict later in the evening it'll just be packed, lots of rides, fun for the kids. 4 p.m. is the Bags Tournament. That's usually sold out, folks. So, if you want to do that, you can still have time, I would think, to register and participate. Sunday, September 13, is a lot of events also. And, of course, the Oktoberfest is still going on. So at 12 o'clock, we'll have Megan Foley singing. At 12:45, we have Tommy Pope. 3 to 5 will be a mariachi band. And then there'll be a car show from 4 to 8 at Cortese Park. So just tons of things happening. And then I'm going to turn the page here and tell you a little bit more. And so on September 19th, which is Saturday, week from Saturday, is the Kiwanis Bike-a-thon. And that's from like 8 to 2. And 8 o'clock, you meet at the gazebo, park at Ardmore, and you get kind of organized on your bike and you get ready to go. And it's a 20 or 50-mile ride. And so if you're interested, you contact the Kiwanis Club of VillaPark.com to register. So obviously that's a email address. So again, that's Kiwanis Club of VillaPark.com. And all the proceeds go to the Kiwanis Eliminate Project. And that has to do with the eradication of tetanus in third world countries. And so all the money will go to eliminate tetanus in 4 countries for either the mother or the child and it just takes a drop to cure that. So that's an awesome project. So there'll also be on Saturday, September 19th, the Cool Readers Readathon at the Public Library here in Villa Park. And so that'll be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And that's 24 readers to benefit the library reading program. So what's happening is you could read for a half hour or 15 minutes, and you get pledges. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I'm a reader at 10:30, and I think received pledges in about $100 worth or so, and that $100 will be given to the library to help in their reading program. So what a great little program they have going on from 9 to 9 p.m. So, and you know, folks, I'm not sure what I'm going to read, but I'm kind of leaning toward Edgar Allan Poe, Pit and the Pendulum. So if you're interested at 10:30, come to the library. I'll be there reading a little bit of Edgar Allan Poe. So, well, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it. We've got a lot of things going on, a busy Monday with the agenda, busy weekend coming up, a busy September 19th weekend. You know, pro football kicks off this weekend, Bears versus Packers, and a ton of other games. So, again, my name is Rich Keener. It's my honor to be the manager of Villa Park. Hope to see you at upcoming events. Take care and have a great weekend, great week.